There is a quiet secret, ancient yet ever present, waiting not in some far-off place, but within your own being, a power so immediate, so intimate, that it requires no tools, no rituals, no special timing, only your awareness. We have been taught to chase, to strive, to seek externally, believing that the material world dictates our reality, but the truth is far simpler and far more profound. What you accept inwardly becomes what you experience outwardly. You are not here to wait for change, you are here to cause it, and not through force, but through consciousness. The process of manifestation is not reserved for the mystics or the few. It is a faculty of every human mind, and it doesn't take months or even days. If you truly understand and apply the principles I'll share with you today, you can begin the creation of anything you desire in 4 minutes or less. This is not about fantasy or wishful thinking. It is about stepping into the creative center of your being and using the faculties you've always had but perhaps never directed with full awareness. In the next few minutes, we'll explore how to turn imagination into reality, desire into form, and thought into experience, all by understanding and embodying one simple truth. You already are the operant power. Imagination is not merely a tool for entertainment or escape. It is not something passive, nor is it a fleeting, inconsequential activity of the mind. Imagination is the very essence of creation itself. Everything that exists around you, every building, every invention, every piece of art, every system or idea once began as an image in the mind of someone who dared to believe in its reality before the world could see it. It is through imagination that we shape the unseen into the seen and bring the intangible into form. To truly manifest anything in just 4 minutes, you must first reclaim the understanding that imagination is formative. It does not observe reality, it directs it. What you vividly imagine with feeling is impressed upon the subconscious, and what is impressed upon the subconscious is inevitably expressed in your world. The subconscious does not judge whether what you imagine is true or false, good or bad, likely or unlikely. It simply accepts what you persistently and emotionally affirm as real. In that way, imagination is the channel through which we instruct the deeper parts of our consciousness, and therefore instruct the universe itself. Most people imagine unconsciously. They dwell on fears, repeat past events, rehearse worst-case scenarios, and then are surprised when life seems to mirror that negativity. But when you become deliberate in your inner vision, when you choose to imagine the outcome you desire with richness, detail, and emotional clarity, you take control of the script that reality follows. You stop reacting and begin creating. The key is not just in visualizing, but in experiencing what you imagine as though it were happening now. Your emotional involvement is what gives your imagined scene its potency. A dry thought creates little. A thought infused with joy, confidence, love, or gratitude becomes alive, it becomes causative. In those 4 minutes of manifestation, the more real it feels to you, the more quickly the outer world responds. You are not waiting for something outside to change before you believe it. You believe it first, and that belief, maintained through imagination, reorganizes external events to match your inner assumption. There is no separation between the world you carry within and the world you walk through. They are two sides of the same mirror. Change the reflection inside, and the mirror must show you something new. So when you sit quietly and begin your 4-minute manifestation, understand this. You are not pretending. You are using the most powerful creative instrument available to you. Every image you hold with faith and feeling becomes a seed. And every seed, faithfully nurtured, must bear fruit. This is not theory, this is law. When you imagine, you create. Consciousness is the foundation of all that is. Everything you see, everything you touch, every experience you have ever had is a projection of your inner state of awareness. Your world is not happening to you, it is happening through you, shaped by the assumptions you carry deep within. These assumptions may be conscious or unconscious, but they form the blueprint that life follows. You are not a passive observer, you are an active participant in creation, and the state you occupy internally determines what is reflected back to you externally. This principle may appear subtle at first, but its implications are profound. If you accept that consciousness is the only true reality, then you must also accept that circumstances, events, and even people's responses are shaped not by chance or external conditions, but by the state of being you live from. Your inner conversations, your dominant beliefs, and your unspoken expectations are constantly weaving the fabric of your reality. When something unwanted appears in your life, it is not a punishment or an accident. It is evidence of an inner condition that has been allowed to persist. To manifest anything in 4 minutes, the shift must occur first in your awareness. You must recognize that what you believe to be true about yourself and your life determines everything you experience. If you walk in the consciousness of lack, even if opportunities surround you, they will remain invisible. If you inhabit the feeling of already having, the world will bend to affirm it, often in ways that appear miraculous. But it is not a miracle, it is law in motion. You do not have to force change in the outer world. You only have to occupy the state of consciousness that corresponds with the outcome you desire. If you desire love, dwell in the awareness of being loved. If you desire wealth, assume the feeling of already being provided for. The shift is internal, and once it is stabilized, the outer must conform. There is no separation between the two. The outer is the shadow of the inner. This is not about ignoring current reality or pretending something is not happening. Rather, it is about understanding that the current reality is only a reflection of yesterday's consciousness. It is old news. If you want new experiences, they must begin with new states of being, and the beautiful truth is that you can change your state in an instant. You are never stuck. You are never trapped. The power to rise into a new level of experience lies in your ability to shift inwardly to awaken to the truth of who you are and what you possess within. When you realize that consciousness is the only reality, you no longer beg, chase, or wait. You create. You move from powerlessness to authority, and in that shift, manifestation is no longer a question of if it becomes inevitable. To manifest anything swiftly and effectively, you must learn to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This means entering into the emotional and mental state where the desire you hold is already accomplished. It is not about hoping for it or visualizing it as a future possibility. It is about claiming it inwardly as a present fact. You are not trying to become something. You are being it now. This is the secret behind all true manifestation. You must feel the reality of your desire so deeply that it becomes more real to you than the evidence of your senses. The subconscious mind does not respond to words alone. It responds to feeling the deep emotional acceptance of an idea as true. You can repeat affirmations for hours, but if they are not backed by inner conviction, they are hollow. However, one moment of true assumption where you feel the joy, the relief, the confidence, the gratitude of already having what you desire carries more creative power than 1,000 forced repetitions. The inner acceptance of the wish fulfilled impresses the subconscious with a new pattern, and that pattern, like a seed, begins to express itself through people, circumstances, and events. This is why manifestation in 4 minutes is possible. Because creation is not bound by time, it is bound by belief. If you can withdraw your attention from what is and fully invest it in what you choose to be, then the shift begins immediately. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and allow your imagination to create a scene that implies your desire has already been realized. Don't force it, allow it. Let your mind build the atmosphere. What would you see, hear, and feel if your wish were already fulfilled? Now, this is crucial. You must not remain an observer in the scene. You must be in the scene. Experience it from the first-person point of view. If your desire is to be in a loving relationship, don't watch yourself from the outside instead. Feel the warmth of your partner's hand. Hear their voice speaking to you. Sense the closeness. If your desire is financial abundance, feel the weight of financial freedom, the calm, the ease, the satisfaction. In that brief window of full immersion, you are no longer separated from your desire. You have become one with it, and once union is established within, the outer world has no choice but to mirror that union. The assumption may only take a few minutes, but if it is done with sincerity and depth, it sets the process of manifestation into motion. Afterward, carry yourself as one who already possesses what they have imagined. Don't contradict it with worry or doubt. Live from it, feel from it. The world will respond not to what you say you want, but to what you are being. And when your being aligns with your desire, manifestation is not a question of time, it is a question of inevitability. One of the most misunderstood ideas about manifestation is that it takes a long time or repeated effort over weeks or months to produce results. While persistence has its place, there is a deeper truth. The power to create lies not in how long you dwell on something, but in the quality and intensity of your attention in a single, focused moment. One vivid and emotionally alive scene, held with conviction, can do more than hours of mechanical repetition. This is why you can begin to manifest anything in just 4 minutes, if those minutes are fully occupied by deep inner engagement. The subconscious mind responds not to duration but to depth. When you concentrate your awareness and immerse yourself fully into the state of the wish, fulfilled not as a hope, but as a certainty, the impression you leave is immediate. It is like pressing a seal into warm wax. The clearer and firmer the pressure, the sharper the imprint. In that concentrated moment, your inner state shifts, and when the inner changes, the outer must follow. This is why idle daydreaming has little power. Daydreams often lack focus, intention, or emotional depth. They are scattered and passive, but a manifestation moment is active. It is deliberate. It is a chosen immersion into the feeling of already being, doing, or having what you desire. Your heart must be involved. Your senses must cooperate. You must lose awareness of where you are and become fully absorbed in where you choose to be. Even a brief encounter with this state can initiate a chain of changes. A single scene, perhaps you receiving a message of congratulations, or walking into your new home, or hearing someone express joy on your behalf if fully felt, becomes a seed of transformation. What matters is not how complex the scene is, but how deeply you feel its reality. In 4 minutes you can build and inhabit that scene, not just with imagination, but with belief, and belief is the true activator of manifestation. The world does not change when you wish for something. It changes when your state of consciousness shifts into alignment with that which you wish, and that shift can be instantaneous. The mind is not bound by time. Emotion is not measured by the clock. You can enter a new state in a heartbeat, and it is from that new state that the world will reorganize itself to meet you. So use those 4 minutes not as time to beg for change, but as sacred minutes of creation. Let your senses guide you into the desired experience. Let your emotion make it real, Let your belief hold it as done, even if you never revisit that scene again. If the experience was true and full in that moment, you have impressed it deeply. The echo of that impression will ripple out, drawing to you everything necessary to fulfill what was first lived within. One of the most liberating truths about manifestation is that you do not need to concern yourself with how your desire will unfold. The how belongs to a level of mind that is rooted in limitation, in cause and effect, in effort, in predictability. But manifestation operates from a higher plane where unseen intelligence connects events, ideas, and people in ways that no human logic could ever predict. When you manifest, your responsibility is not to strategize or analyze. Your only task is to dwell in the end, to live in the done, and to let go of the need to control the process. The more you interfere with the how, the more you delay the outcome. This is because constantly thinking about how something will happen pulls you out of the state of the wish fulfilled and into the state of desire where you are still lacking. This inner contradiction sends mixed signals to the subconscious, which obeys the dominant feeling. If your dominant feeling is doubt, worry, or effort, the subconscious cannot deliver your result, because you have not yet truly assumed that it is already yours. When you live in the end, you are not hoping, you are knowing. You walk as though it is already so. You speak not from desire, but from fulfillment. You react to life as the person who already has the thing desired, not as one trying to get it. This internal stance is what causes the outer world to shift. And it often shifts in ways that seem unrelated, unexpected, even miraculous. But these so-called coincidences are simply the natural outworking of the unseen forces you've activated within. Think of it this way. When you plant a seed, you don't stand over the soil and demand to know which molecule will turn into a stem, which bug might interfere, or how the roots will form. You trust that the process will unfold because you know the seed is alive and intelligent. In the same way, when you impress your subconscious with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the mechanisms of manifestation go to work quietly, intelligently, and often invisibly at first. The more you can release the need to know the path, the faster the path will reveal itself. Your only role is to remain faithful to the state of fulfillment. Every time doubt arises, gently bring your attention back to the end result. Remember what it feels like to already have it. That state, when consistently occupied, will generate the conditions, meetings, ideas, and opportunities needed for its fulfillment. So let go. Rest in the knowing that it is already done. Trust the unseen. Live from the place where the desire is no longer a desire, but a fact. When you do this, the outer world will begin to shift in response to the world you've chosen to inhabit within effortlessly, precisely, and often astonishingly. Once you have assumed the feeling of the wish fulfilled, your work is not to question, doubt, or constantly check for results. Your work is to persist. Persistence is not repetition for the sake of effort. It is the quiet, unwavering decision to remain loyal to the state you have chosen, no matter what your senses may temporarily reflect. The outer world may show the opposite. It may delay, resist, or distract you, but if you remain true to the inner knowing that your desire is already fulfilled, then it must, without fail, harden into fact. This process is not about force. It is about faith, not faith in a distant power, but in your own creative authority. Once a new state of consciousness has been chosen, it becomes your responsibility to live from it consistently. This means thinking from the end, reacting from the end, seeing the world through the eyes of one who already possesses what they once desired. That consistency in inner posture is what stabilizes the frequency of your being, and reality is compelled to align with it. There will be moments when doubts creep in, when appearances seem to contradict your assumption. This is where most people falter. They begin to waver. They shift back into the old state and then declare the process ineffective. But the truth is, the manifestation was already unfolding. It simply required your continued alignment. Think of it like a seed that has broken open underground. You may not see the growth immediately, but the transformation is already in motion. If you dig it up in impatience, you delay or destroy the result. But if you water it with trust and hold firm in your belief, you allow it to bloom. Persistence is the bridge between imagination and reality. It is the invisible commitment that keeps you anchored in the unseen truth until it becomes visible. And this is not a matter of pretending, it is a matter of being. The more natural your assumption becomes, the faster the world will conform. What begins as a deliberate practice will soon feel like fact. You will think, feel, and move as one who already is, and life will echo back that certainty in tangible form. Do not be discouraged by temporary silence or apparent opposition. These are not signs of failure. Often they are signs that old beliefs are being dissolved, that old conditions are making way for the new. Stand firm in your assumption. Return to it as often as necessary. Feel it real again and again until it no longer feels like a practice, but like your true self. When you persist in the state of the fulfilled desire, reality has no choice. It is a law not of effort, but of consciousness. What you are within, consistently and confidently, must express itself without. And when that alignment is sustained, what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable, and the unseen becomes undeniable. What you've just learned is not a theory, nor is it a motivational concept meant to inspire for a moment and fade. It is a law steady, unchanging, and absolute, that your inner world is the source of all outer experience, and the power to shape it lies entirely within you. In just 4 focused minutes, you can shift your state of consciousness, impress your subconscious with a new reality, and set into motion the manifestation of any desire not by effort or chance, but by awareness, belief, and alignment. You are not required to know the path. You are not asked to force outcomes or analyze every step. Your role is to assume, to feel, to dwell in the end, and to persist in that state until it becomes natural. Whether your desire is for health, love, success, peace, or purpose, the process remains the same. Create the experience within, and the outer will mirror it faithfully. There is no separation between you and your dream except the belief that it is not yet yours. Let go of that belief. Replace it with certainty. Replace it with embodiment. Speak, act, and feel from the state where your wish is already fulfilled. In doing so, you cease to be a seeker and become a creator. You step into your true identity, the operant power of your life. So, the next time you sit in silence, close your eyes, and enter the scene of your desire, remember, 4 minutes of true inner experience can birth a new world. All you need to do is believe it long enough to feel it deeply enough to live it, and live it confidently enough that the world has no choice but to respond. You already have the power. You already are the cause. Now use it deliberately, joyfully, and with the full knowing that what you assume to be true must become your reality.